distancing is still on, and who knows how long this will go on for. But anyway, that was the question that this girl had. Another girl called me. She's learning music. Could she still take her lessons? So she does virtual lessons. Others called us. It's the days of sefira. They're stuck at home, and everything is done virtual today. Could you watch videos, things that have music? Okay. This is going to be the main question I will deal with today. I will give you a short answer, but because the Rebbe wanted that always after the 3 Yom Tovim there should be a Kinus Torah, I will delve a little bit into the source of minhagim. There's always the minig. It's not a minig. What's a minig? What's not a minig? Obviously, I'm not going to get to the bottom of the entire sugya, and I want to get to one point within the sugya. But I think you'll have a better handle of what is the power of a minig and where do minhagim come from and how obligatory they are, and what constitutes a minig and what's not a minig. Okay. We're in the first page. Today, Dafke, there was a long thing. As you'll see at the end, someone asked a unique question, so that's why I have from the Alter Rebbe the 2 pages. We're on the first page, the first question. Vayar kolam vayaroinu, which is a thing of dancing and singing. So the question is, could you have music, videos, and so on in the days of sefira? So the first paragraph. Kosu b'shuch norach Rabbeinu, the Alter Rebbe writes, Noigim shalalisi isha v'shalalistaper ben Pesach l'atzeres. Minig is not to marry and not to take a haircut between Pesach and Atzeres. Later in the Simmer is going to talk about 2 minhagim, a half, the first half, the second half. Chabad keeps all 49 days. We're mourning for the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva that died in these days. You're allowed to make a shidduch without the actual marriage. Why? Maybe someone else will grab the girl before you, so you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to make a suda because that's also this mitzvah, an engagement party. The interesting word, why is that a sudas mitzvah, an engagement party? Because the whole idea of the kedusha of a Jew is that we don't just Adam Poigesh, he doesn't meet some woman in the street and that's it, they get together. The kedusha of Klal Yisrael is that they meet the girl, they decide to get married, then they make an engagement, and they have a chuppah v'kiddushin, so it's considered a sudas mitzvah. But you're not allowed to have singing and dancing at this party. You're not allowed to have singing and dancing of reshus. Now this line is the critical line. That's it. There's no more in Shulchan Aruch about music in the sefira. You're allowed to make a sudas reshus and simchas merez if the friends want to get together. So all the poskim today, right? It's that a kol shekain, you're not allowed to hear music. And they say also with a tape or on the internet, if not live music. And that, because that's the minig. If it's a mamish, I mean, it's not in Shulchan, but 3 poskim, I have almost every source here on the sheet. Today, Igris Moshe, look in 3 places. The Tzitz Eliezer, the Minchas Yitzchok. My uncle told me a beautiful word. My uncle is a Rav in the Choshevet Shul in Sydney, Rabbi Meleki. And so he grew up in Melbourne, and his mother, interesting, is Sfadi from Burma. His father is an Australian, a few generations. My father had a pharmacy on Baklava. Anyone that was members in Melbourne. His father was Orthodox Jew, but not more than that. Just about, Chabad in Melbourne, they're like the main school. So all the kids end up going to Chabad school. They're the best school, and they're the main school, Jewish school in town. So he became more frum, he became Lubavitch. But he said that he remembered that in the sefira, there was no TV in the house. His father said, you're not allowed to have music. So there's no TV in the house in the days of sefira. So now he's a Rav, and he said, when he grew up, you're not allowed to have TV in the days of sefira. There's no shadin. Baruch Hashem, he said, my father didn't know better, and at least for the days of sefira, we didn't have television. But anyway, the poskim do think. The Igros Moshe has another thing. Igros Moshe says, but they all have the same thing, that it's a minig lapoil. You see, minig Yisrael is angenommen a zach that you can go into any grocery store, right? You have sefira music. There's a whole industry of sefira music. So we see that it's minig Yisrael not to have music. Now, we'll talk about soon, there's levels of minhagim, a minig that's against halacha, minig gerua, a weak minig, then there's a strong minig. But this is a good minig, that this is, we're mourning for the 24 students of Rabbi Akiva. And it seems an accepted minig by Klal Yisrael not to hear music, not only live music, but also recording of music. And the Moshe has a whole other thing. After the Churban Beis Hamikdash, there's a whole machlokes if you're allowed to have music. So he says the minig is that Isur, because of the Churban Beis Hamikdash, is now a little stronger. In one of the places he's machalak, he says just like in the 9 days or the Shavuot Shechal B'Tisha B'Av that you're allowed to do music for parnasa, but not for pleasure. So he says if you're teaching and you're giving lessons for music, you're allowed to. But if you're doing for pleasure, it's also. Now, I would say like this: if you have a child who's learning music and they're just about strumming a little bit or whistling or banging a little bit, but they're not. This is not really music. You have to put cotton in your ears when the kid is practicing. So that's not called hanoah. Also, and the kids is going to lose 6 weeks, and they're going to lose everything they're learning, and maybe it is for the parnos of the kid in the future. The frat of the child is under barabas mitzvah, and this is all a minig. But if the practicing is done for pleasure, then that's the minig that it's also, and also videos. It's all also. But it's a little difficult now that the kids are home for 6 weeks. I want to go into this and see where there might be any loopholes in this. And in general, like I said, in honor of the Kinus Torah, I want to go into what is the power of a minig. The Torah tells me, God tells me to do. I have to listen to what God tells me to do. The Rabbanan tell me to do. My Bobby told me what to do. Is that a mitzvah? You remember country Yossi? What's the mitzvah? Bobby, kiss the Bobby's a very thing, but that's not a mitzvah. Kiss the Bobby. So the Bobby said, so what the Bobby said, the Zaidi said, the Zaidi said, the Zaidi said, and the Zaidi's friends and the Bobby's friends said. What's the difference? Why is it an obligation to me just because it's a minig? Okay, look at the second paragraph here. The Gemara says, they would not travel from Tzur to Tzidon if it was an Erev Shabbos. Also, Rabbi Yochanan, it's not clear why. The Yerushalmi will have a clear thing because we're traveling on the ocean. It sounds like, and that Rashi says here, because Pashat, because not to spend time in the marketplace. Mitzad Kovet Shabbos, that Rashi says, Mitzur l'tzidim yom hashuk shel tzidim b'erev Shabbos. There was the Yom Hashuk, ve'em machmirim alatzim shaloi lebatel mitzorchei Shabbos. They would stand. They didn't go do business in the marketplace in order to be able to sit at home and cook and clean and get ready for Shabbos. Also, the children came to Rabbi Yochanan, and our fathers, they were rich. They could take 1 day off work. It's not a big deal. It wouldn't make a dent in their pocketbook. And if it was, it didn't hurt them. And now, we can't afford not to work another day of the week. Shabbos, we can't work. Torah said not a lot of work. But Friday, we want to go do business. Your parents already accepted this minig. It says in the Parsha, you're not allowed to forsake the Torah of your mother and the Torah of your father. So it's also for you to go work and go to the marketplace in Tzidai. There is a long Gemara afterwards. The reason I didn't quote it is because it's not going to be that relevant to the main Nakuda we want to get to. The Gemara tells us a whole thing that Rabbi said that the things that people think is mut is also, you're not allowed to go and laugh at it. If they think it's also, you have to respect it. The Gemara says it's mainly by places which are not B'nai Torah. The Gemara tells 3 stories. That Yerushalmi brings also similar 3 stories. That there was Yehuda and Hillel, the sons of Rabbi Gamliel. They were together in a bathhouse in Kovel, and everyone started laughing. What? 2 brothers in a bathhouse? Just like it's also for a man to be with his brother-in-law in the bathhouse, it's also to be for 2 brothers. It's because of an issue of Mishkav Zocher. But really but they didn't want to tell them it's not also. They just one of them walked out of the bathhouse. Same thing was the story of Rabbi Gamliel in Aku, that he sat on a bench that the goyim were selling in the marketplace. They said, what? It's also to do that. And he just got up and he walked away. He didn't want to tell them it's mutter. I'm just mentioning it because it'll be a little relevant at the end. Okay. Now let's get to the Yerushalmi. Next paragraph. The Yerushalmi says like this: Kol advorim tolu oisem b'minig. that everything is told in the minig. That Motzah Shabbos, by the way, this in Yerushalmi and Bavli is both in the Perek Dalet Mesachas Psakim, which the name of the Perek is Mokum Shenogu. I mean, that Perek for Mesachas Psakim is all about Minhagim, and that's the name of the Mokum Shenogu. It's all about the minig. It's talking about Erev Pesach before Chatzos. If some places after Chatzos, the Chazal said it's a Yom Tov for Klal Yisrael because they bring the Korban Pesach. But before Chatzos, Mokum Shenogu, some people have a minig this way and some people have a minig that way, and depends where you live and if you travel, if you're going to move to another place and you're not planning to live there, you are planning to live there, v'chulu v'chulu. Are you allowed to do things in front of others? Might make a machlokes, you're not allowed to. That's the whole, the kids said the whole paid, just a paid in Sach. Yerushalmi says like a kolat the minig thing is, if there's a minig, you have to go to the minig. But then the Yerushalmi says in the shade and higid elolam eved uvde bapuke shabata that Motzah Shabbos they don't do any work. The husband he could clean the dishes, he could do everything. They don't do any work. Motzah Shabbos, the women they have a great minig, no work. Ain't a minig, it's not a minig. Just go do the dishes with your husband. It's not gefährlich. If they have a minig that they don't until the people finish davening in shul, even though it's already after Shabbos, they wait till they finish on everything. That's a minig. But today, there are people have a minig, they don't work every Monday and Thursday. Ain't a minig, that's not a minig. Ad yispin tanis until the time is finished, that's a minig. Yom they rufta every erev yom tov, every Shabbos work. Ain't a minig, it's not a minig. But only mina mincha to 2.5 hours before Shabbos. No, that's minig. Yom de yarche, if they don't do malacha on Rosh Chodesh, that is a good. That's a minig. The women that have a minig that they don't do shesi ve'edev, they don't do any sewing on the 9 days. That is a good minig because it's a play on word. Because then there was a churban beis hamikdash. The memela was bottled the koyach of the even shesiya. Matam kashosos yoreisen. It says in the pasuk kashosos yoreisen that when the even shesiya is broken, so the stringing and the because shosses could mean the even shesiya can also mean shesi ve'edev. So therefore you should stop doing shesi ve'edev. Tzarem is in the pasuk. My Zayda had a beautiful word. He always loved to say. Pasuk says, "Kashosis yoreisen tzadik mapol." Kashosis yoreisen. If you're going to stop drinking l'chaim, tzadik mapol. What did the tzadik do with my morim and sichis and toida? If we're not going to get together and say l'chaim, kashosis yoreisen, we're going to stack the siddur verbrengens. Forget about it. Tzadik mapol. Mit gon shuv getan. Amar Reb Chinana kol advarim minig. Everything is a minig. Don't tell me this minig, that minig. Reb Chinana said everything is a minig. A minig is a minig. And he said, I'll bring you a raya on the shit and have it b'migdal tzave. That there was a town called Migdal Tzave in Eretz Yisrael, and there was a Kabbalah that was the place where Yaakov Avinu planted the Atzei Shittim, that the Yidden took down the Mitzrayim, that later they brought up, and they built a Mishkan with this Atzei Shittim, which is to do with this week's Parsha, Shemini Limaluim. And in general, this whole thing has to do with the after Pesach, because it's Mesachas Pesachim, Makom Shenogu. Also, they're allowed to do any avodah. So obviously it's mutter because it was already nasa and malach. I mean, Yaakov Avinu planted, and the Eden took it down to Mitzrayim. Whatever wood is still growing there is not that's not for the Mishkan. I mean that's it. It's over. So still, you shouldn't change the meaning of your fathers. Oban says. And this is, I underlined this, it's not underlined in the Yerushalmi, obviously, because this is going to be the Lomdisha thing which we were going to deal with. A person that makes a toast, and or people in the town, they make a toast, and they think it's also nishal, they could ask it off, and tell him it's mutter. If he knows it's mutter, and he's noig misur, why? Because he wanted to be machmer, he wanted to make a siyog l'toira. Nishal, he asks, they're not mad for him. Now, this critical line you'll see soon is a moiridik machloikas rishonim, even though they don't talk about it directly, necessarily or rishonim, but the two rishonim that directly talk about this Yerushalmi is the Rosh and the Rashba. How you read this? The Rosh reads it lakula. He says that if he asks, if he made a toss, he thinks it's also to work every Monday and Thursday. So he asked the Rav says, listen, yeah, Mashiach will come, you're not going to work even Tuesday and Wednesday. But right now, if you have to pay the mortgage, you should work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Machnashto is also Friday. Adamincha, you could work. But if it's a davar which is a chumre that Yidden were makabel on themselves in that town, he can't tell them it's mutter. But if he wants to make hatoras nedorim, that and he has charota that he accepted that minik, that's a mutter. It's a little stretch because that's not in the words here. The Rashba learns that kipshute the words. If it's a thing which is a toes, he made a toes. He thought it's also, so then he could ask, and they make ki'ilu hatoras nedorim, and then they tell him it's mutter. But something which is a siyog l'toira, they don't eat gebroks. Chabad, they don't eat gebroks. Why? Because it's a shaila of chametz. So then, you could stand on your head. You could ask 20 rabbanim, and you could bring a bezna godel shebiru shalayim. You can't make it os mutter. And that's really the simple reading of the words. The halacha, well, you'll see in Shechnarach, the Shechnarach paskins like the Rosh, which is the Kuladik way. I'm going to skip over a juicy piece in the Gemara. Again, the Gemara talks about certain minhagim, 3 stories about the Rabbi Gamliel, the 2 brothers in the bathhouse, and so on. And then another 3 stories about minhagim at Tzipoiri and Tveria, different minhagim, and the attitudes that Chachamim had towards those minhagim. And then the Gemara finishes, Golem and Mokum Lamakim. People went on Golus. The whole people in one town, they moved from this town and they went to another town. They couldn't live there anymore. The Goyim made it very difficult. They packed their bags and went to another town. The big Shalach and they wanted to change their minik. So the Gemara, we could learn from this thing. That Rabbi Ba said like this: Bnei Meisha, the people of Meisha, Kibul Alayon Shalalifrish Yamagodl. They were makabel never to go and travel on Friday in the Yamagodl, which is halacha that's brought in Shulchan Aruch. Why? Because it's very unsettling to the stomach. So 3 days before Shabbos, on Shabbos, you're not going to have any Oinig Shabbos. So they had a thing, not that even a small distance, not to go on the ocean on Erev Shabbos. It's a little, in other words, the story of the Bnei Meisha here is a little different than in the way that Rashi explains it in the Bavli. Over there, Rashi says it was a story about if they go to the marketplace. Here, it's a story, could they go in the Yam HaGodl? Could they travel on the ocean? So are we allowed to travel? Our parents didn't travel. We want to travel. Don't be mishana the minig of your fathers. And this is the critical part. What they do a Torah Nedarim? A minig can't be worse than a do a Torah Nedarim. So Gemara says, Tamam mishanodar. That's if you made your own neder. Nisha, but over there the parents made the neder. So how could they undo their father's neder? So the Gemara says, no, kol sheken you mutaris. If I take a neder on myself, I could undo the neder through Torah's nedarim. Kol sheken if my father put, who gave him the right to put the neder on me to begin with? Okay, so whatever, he has the right to put a neder on me. But if he could undo his neder, for sure I could undo his neder. That wasn't the problem. The Torah and Dorim could have been done, no problem. It could be done in 15 minutes. Everything would have been done for the Bnei Meisha, no problem. The problem was that Rabbi told me that Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi was a Talmud of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Osr lefaraj b'Yam HaGodl. He says it's awesome. It's a din. And that's taka the din in Samaresh Memches. It's Osr lefaraj b'Yam HaGodl. Not allowed to. It's awesome a din. But had it not been a din, just a minik, and they would have wanted to make a Torah in the Dorim, no problem. There's a machlokes here in the Korban Ha'eda and the Chasam Sofer how you read the Hemshech Gemara. The Korban Ha'eda says, "Bnei Meisha shem makom hoyu metchilim dorim makom acher v'nogu shamisa." The reason they want to be makel is because they're not in the original towns. It sounds like the Korban Ha'eda holds you need tarti l'tivusa 2 miles. They moved from town to town. Plus they're going to do a Torah. But the Chasam Sofer argues. The Chasam Sofer says, "I don't understand." He says that's not mashmara that the Bnei Meisha they traveled. And it's a little unclear in the Gemara. The Gemara says the question was Golem Makom Lamakom, and the Gemara says and they asked the Rebbe what to do. It doesn't say that they traveled from place to place. Therefore, the Chasam Sofer is a different shot. Because the people left the town, the Kabbalah is broken. The question was, is it on the Cheftzes kilo on the Gavra? Is it on the town? The minig is on the town. That's the minig of New York. That's the minig in Prague. That's the minig in Lubavitch. As you move out of Lubavitch, the minig is not binding. Or that it's on the Karkafta, the Gavra. It's on every Yid that lives in Lubavitch. It doesn't matter that he moved out of Lubavitch, out of Prague, out of New York. Or Parsha moved to the Bnei Meshon, Shein Yechelim Lashanas. And from the Bnei Meshon, we see a raya that it's on the person himself. Even if they moved, also. Some Sefer doesn't explain what he meant. I think the pshat is that the Bnei Meshon, where are they traveling in a boat? In the city? No, it's not in the city. It's not a European city that there's a river throughout in the middle of the city. It's not the East River over here we're talking about. We're talking about that they would go out of the city with a horse and buggy or with a camel or with a donkey, and they would go to the Yam HaGadol and they'd travel Metzora L'Tzidan. So over there, it's not in their town. And still he said, it's Osir. And the Gemara at the end said that it was anyway also Metzad Din. But the Gemara was thinking it's Osir. Why is it Osir? It's not in their town. Elamai, we see that a minig is a kakaf to the Gavra. So therefore, if you move from place to place, it's the same din. That's what I think the Chassam Sofer is trying to say. Well, you may be it as you may, but that's the Chassam Sofer holds. And interesting, the Chassam Sofer says, what was the Havamina? They thought that they're allowed to, because the din is for a Dvar Mitzvah, you're allowed to travel on the ocean, even if you're going out within 3 days before Shabbos. The question is, what's a Dvar Mitzvah? So he brings a machloikus if a person needs to make a living for Mezoinus. Is Mezoinus called a Dvar Mitzvah? There are those that hold that when you open up your business and you go to work, you open your computer, that's called a Dvar Mitzvah. Yes, it's called a Dvar Mitzvah. It's called a Dvar Mitzvah when it's not Stam. We say Chassidus, and he works l'shem Shemaim, makes a Kiddush Hashem with the honesty of the way he does business, the way he can hold himself. That is a Dvar Mitzvah. But the Yehuda held that no, Mezoinus ain't a Dvar Mitzvah. Bottom line is, according to Sefer, you need two things. You need a Dvar Mitzvah plus a Toras and Dorim. It'll work. Over there, it didn't work because he held it was Be'etzem Osir. Okay, but otherwise, if it's a Dvar Mitzvah plus a Toras and Dorim, so according to Carbon Ada, you need to have that you move from place to place plus a Toras and Dorim. You need a Dvar Mitzvah plus a Toras and Dorim. Next paragraph. Rabbi Yochanan Psachim writes these words. The question was about going into the ocean and traveling. He held that it's also mitzadadin to travel in the Yam HaGadol, but otherwise it's a nether, and you could ask, and they matter. It sounds pretty clearly from the Rabbi Yochanan that he holds as a machloikas of the Bavli and the Yerushalmi, that according to the Bavli, it's that, and it was a different story and a different pasuk. It's also just, it sounds like almost it's like Isa de Rabbanan, just like the Rabbanan said. The Gemara says in Shabbos, how do you know you have to listen to the Rabbanan? We say check the Shana Mitzvah, it's Vanan Lahadik Ner Shachanaka. The Gemara says, and the Gemara also says, because it's a so Shema b'ni Musa Rabbi Chaltit Shem is like a takonas Chazal, just like Chazal have a right to make a siyag l'Torah, which is this week's Pirkei Avos asu siyag l'Torah. A kehila, Klal Yisrael, a kehila has the right to make a siyag l'Torah, and it becomes a mitzvah. The Rabbanan kilo, it becomes a mitzvah. So how can you make a Toras Nedarim? You know what? Today I want to eat chicken and milk. Let's make a Toras Nedarim. Chazal said it's also, but I'm going to make a Toras Nedarim. That's a joke. That doesn't work. You don't make such a Toras Nedarim. Maybe Reform or conservative will make such a Toras Nedarim, but me and you can't make a Toras Nedarim. Chazal said it's also to have chicken and milk. Finished. Fisya, it's also, it's finished. So the same thing according to the Bavli. When there's a minig, especially if it's an established minig, wrong minig, so you can't make a Toras Nedarim for it. But the Yerushalmi holds you could make a Toras Nedarim. So basically, the Rabbi Yochanan, the way I see it, the Rabbi Yochanan is saying that there's machloikas Bavli Yerushalmi. According to the Yerushalmi, the koyach of a minute, it's a neder. I made a neder. I'm not eating chicken. No more chicken. I don't eat chicken. So the price went up. Crazy, $2.99 a pound, $3.29 a pound. I'm not eating chicken anymore. I made a neder. then I decide to do, or shvua. Anyway, I would do one, I eat chicken fart. So for Shabbos and Yom Tov. So I can make a Torah and Dorim, not a problem. But that's the shit of Yerushalmi. The Babli holds a minig is not that way. No. A minig is Shema b'nei Musa v'cha Torah Zamecha. It became a part of Torah Shemapeh. Suksiok Torah. You make a Torah and Dorim, and that's a joke. Okay. Let's go further. The last paragraph here. Shulchan Aruch Yoyda Deya Siman Reishu Dalet Sif Aleph. Shulchan Aruch says like this: Dvorim HaMutarim v'Yoydim Behem Mutarim Noga B'Mis. Everyone knows it's mutter. Everyone knows that Apidin you're allowed to have Knedlach on Pesach. I'm giving an example. There's 100 minhagim. Everyone knows that that in the 9 days you allowed to eat meat and drink wine. It's not Shavuot Shechol B'Tishba. Anyway, but the minig is to be also have a kilo kibul alem beneder v'os latir alem hilkach. It's like a neder, and you're not allowed to be mater. Hilkach misharogel sanas tainas shalifnei Rosh Hashanah v'shemein Rosh Hashanah v'yom Kippurim. There used to be people that fasted all the aseres yemei tshuva. Misharogel shalach labas shlishas yam reshav. Or those that have the minig not to eat in the 9 days wine or meat. By the way, the Machaber is the Sfar them taka don't have this minig. And he wants to, he regrets it now. He's not healthy and he does need to eat meat in the 9 days. Sorry, 3 people will be mated and they're different. If B'shas he had originally accepted, he had Vedas to do it forever. If he did it even one time, he needs a Torah Nedarim. Is to go to a Rav and say he has a Pesach Charoto, like every neder that you have a Pesach Charoto. There's a beautiful thing from the Rebbe Zayda in Sharakoilo, where he says the B'diuk the Lashon in the Nusach that the Alter Rebbe says in the Torah Nedarim. Shenahakti came. And then he says, that if you do it one time and you had in mind to do it forever, it becomes a neder. Or any anhoga toiva, any mitzvah anhoga toiva that you did 3 times, and even if you didn't have in mind that you're going to do it forever, but Lepoil, you did it 3 times, it becomes on you like a neder. It becomes on you like a neder. He add that the Kitzur Shechnar is a kash in the Alter Rebbe. What do you mean the Shlosh Apam? The Shechnar says 1 time. And he brings that ayah from the Alter Rebbe. Fedish says that in Simatov Samachesif Yudzayin. Back to the Sif, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. The next page, the top of the page. A person that wants to be noyeg, special minhagim for siyag l'toira. He should say with his mouth, I'm not doing it as a neder. I'm only planning to do it once or twice. So I have to say 2 things. I'm not doing it as a neder. You see me doing it once, but I'm not doing it in that. And just in case you see me do it several times, they're not connected. Once, twice I did it. You never caught me doing it 3 times. If I did it 3 times, it was incidental. But I never did it as 1 time or another, or 3 times, even without. I'm not accepting it as another. I'm sorry. I know you He thinks it's also. He thinks you have to wait 6 hours between fish and meat. There's no nothing. Rav has to tell him, listen, sir, you made a mistake. It's a toes, and that's it. You can tell the whole town they made a toes, and that's it. The other opinion says, no, if everything is 1 step more chumrah, if he thinks it's also he has to come to bezna shloisha and the matir. This word ke'ein, the Beis Yosef adds in the Rashba, but I think he's adding a lumdus here, as I explained soon. It's similar to Torah. It's not really a Torah and Dorim it is. It's really mutter, and he made a mistake. But they don't want you to the joke. Judaism is you go to the rabbi, and again, go to the rabbi. So make it a serious ceremony. It was a Torah and Dorim. It's not the Torah and Dorim. It's really it's mutter, but it's a ceremony that shouldn't look like mitzvahs get pushed away easy. But if he knows it's mutter, and he was noigin isur, he knows it's mutter to eat kibrok. So any one of the 300 minhagim that we do, he knows a lot of them. But he was not there. I feel like I Torah and Dorim. Kiblo. Here I emphasize the word kiblo al atzmai. Ki yisurim shaseratam toida she'ein lohem heter lo'olam. It's like an Isser in the Torah that has no heter forever. Obviously, it doesn't mean that it becomes a struck as Isser Shal Torah. It can't be worse than Isser Derabanan. We say something Derabanan Lakuluk. He means to say it's like an Isser Shal Torah Shem Lam Heter Loilam. The Torah says it's also. The Rabbanan say not allowed chicken with milk. Make the Torah's Nadarim. You can go to Cincinnati to the seminary. Then maybe over there they'll do it for you. But Afrum Yid can't do that. Okay. What's the Mechaber say? What is it? Amos say? The minig is sort of shiny. The minig is lakula. Minig is lakula. Let me go quickly. Siv Beis. If the people in the city started keeping a minig, it becomes binding for the entire city. Even if it wasn't that the whole city had a meeting, baskama of the Shiva Tuva Bayir, that's the minig. But all the people in the city started doing it. El Shenoigen came out, Malasas Geder, Visayagla Toida, Bechenabam, Hutzli Lodisham, Rikan, Shahir, Bechevalas Katakanos, of Avadov Shasurim, Vav, Bedvarm Shasurim, Chambirim, Neminogavana, Minigir, Shabolodisham Lasser, Hutri, main item Lasa. If you move into that town, whatever was usually Osser or usually Mutter changes. Whatever you have to do, what's in this town. Whatever is Mutter and Osser in this town, that's what you have to do if you're planning to move into this town. The critical line in the Gilead Marsov. I'm sorry, a typo. So there's a whole country that has a minig and they want to break the minig. So they all have to come together. It's not enough that one city is going to come. The whole country has to come together to do Hatoras Nedorim. And Sif, basically, there's no contradiction. Sif Aleph, Sif Beis. Minig HaYochid or Minig HaTzibur could all have Hatoras Nedorim, according to the first opinion, and that's the Halacha. It's just if it's my private minig, it's very easy. I just get a bezin, I go to, and I bemater neder. But if it's a whole country, all the Ashkenaz Jews have a minig, so then they all have to do it. That means that maybe the representatives, a Shiva Tuva'ir, I mean, today it's not such a thing as Shiva Tuva'ir. That's not possible to do it even. But all the Medina would have to go and do Hatoras Nedorim. The Beis Yosef explains that the two opinions if you could do Hatoras Nedorim for a minig or not is a machlokes the Rosh and the Rashba. And according to the Beis Yosef in the Diuk of the Rosh and Shulchan Aruch, the machlokes is like this. According to the Rosh, basically, it's like the Yerushalmi, and obviously he holds there's no machlokes Babli in Yerushalmi. The koyach of a minig is a neder, and you could do Hatoras Nedorim. But if you made a mistake, you think that something is also, but it's a mistake. No, the mistake is a mistake. They tell them right away. The Rav tells the people in this town that you made a mistake. A mistake is a mistake. But the Rashba holds no. The koyach of minig is altitish toirasim mech. Like he says, keep that kisurim shasratan toira sheilam heter loilam. It's a siogla Torah, and you can't break it. You can stand in your head; it stays forever. You can't break it. Probably when Mashiach will come, and there'll be a bezin agodol that earlier said they could overturn other takonas derabbanan, and they'll be able to overturn this minute, but not now. That's the machloikis. That's the bottom line. According to the Rashba, when a person makes a toast and he thinks, and we make a Hatoras Nedorim, it's not really a Hatoras Nedorim. It's ke'ein Hatoras. It's a ceremony that it should look like something. It's a ceremony that should look like something. That's the bottom line. So, according to the Shulchan Aruch, really the halacha is lekula korbanei more than sefira. You don't need to be goyel b'makom l'makom, and you don't need to have a dvar mitzvah. Bottom line is, if you want to, any minig is a neder, and you want to undo the neder, you have pesach charot, you go to a bezin and you do it, and that's it. It's the befedish machlokes the Bavli in Yerushalmi, but the Rosh holds it's not. I mean, the Rosh could argue in the Rabbi Yochanan. But what's the hesber? So I think I have a hesber. Look in the fourth paragraph. These are the words of the Alter Rebbe and Siman Tov Samaches, which is the Siman, which is based on the fourth Perek in Maseches Pesachim Makom Shenogu. Be'erev Pesach Be'edim Chatzos. Totally b'minik. After Chatzos, Chazal said it's a Yom Tov for Klal Yisrael because they're bringing the Korban Pesach. But before Chatzos, it depends on the minik. Mokim Shenogu Lasas Oisin Kol Malachas. Afilo Shaloi Tzarech Hamoed. Mokim Shenogu Shaloi Lasas Ein Oisin. If the minik is to do, they do Malach. If the minik not to do, they don't do. V'av b'nei Macharei Matzoiv Kol Adoyres Adorim B'Yem Azois. Them and their children to the last generation in Golus. Not allowed to break their father's minik. I think what the Alter Rebbe is saying, and look in some Sif Tezayin and Yud Zayin, you'll see it more clearly. The minig is a neder, as he says clearly in Sifta Zayin. But I could take a neder myself. How can I make a neder of my son and my grandson? How can I make a neder of my grandson? How can I make a neder of my grandson? For that, we need the pasuk al tita shma b'ni musar avicha v'al tita shtoyda simecha. So really, there's no machlokas Bavli in the Yerushalmi, not like the Rashba, and not the way it sounds from the Rabbi Yochanan. It's not clear in the Rabbi Yochanan, but not like the Rashba. The Rosh and the Rashba lived in the same time. The Rosh was in Germany, and when they arrested his Rebbe, the Maram Rottenberg, he ran away from Germany. Eventually, the Germans were begging him to come back, and he said, but he crossed the Pyrenees. He went through Provence, and he went first place in Spain was in the highest city in Spain, which borders today with France, is Barcelona. And in Barcelona, he stayed in the house of the Rashba. There is a family. They think a whole thing. They found a rock. There's a house. They're called the Ben Aderet house in Barcelona today. So he stayed in the house of the Rashba for 2 weeks. Could you imagine the Rosh and the Rashba, which they're always arguing, and it is said that they had the most friendly and geschmacke conversations. But Torah is Torah. Otherwise, they argue. And the Rashba is the one that found that Toledo needs a chief rabbi, and he suggested that they take the Rosh. And the Rosh Taka, he built his yeshiva in Toledo, and that's where his son took over and wrote the Four Turim, which is the forerunner of the Shulchan Aruch. So this is basically a machloikis of the Rosh and the Rashba. The Rashba holds the machloikis Bavli in Yerushalmi. And we pass like the Bavli that a minig is al titish Torah semecha. It's a susiog la Torah, and you can't break it. There's nothing you stand in your head. If you thought that you made a matos, then they make this ceremony about Torah Nedarim. But if you knew it's mutter and you took upon yourself a susiog la Torah, you can't break it. But the Rosh holds, and that's the halacha Shulchan Aruch, that the koyach of a minig is a neder, like the Yerushalmi says. And when the Bavli says al titish Torah semecha, like the Alter Rebbe explains, that is just saying how come you could put a neder for your children. But obviously, you could do a Torah Nedarim, they can do a Torah Nedarim. Two more. Okay, so before we go, just to summarize, the halacha is like the Rosh. So, but the thing is, a minig like this, that all Klal Yisrael, they don't watch TV, they don't watch movies, and they don't listen to music also on a tape. So that's l'chad a minig of Klal Yisrael. Now, I wish my brother pointed out to me a very good thing. A person goes to a mall, right? A person goes to the airport. There's music playing. It's Koil Isha Erva, right? So, but l'chadchila, you're not going to turn on such music. But what could you do? We rely on the fact that it's a tape recorder and it's on the internet, or it's not live. So why can't you be making on the 9 days or in the days of sefira, not live music? But that's not true. Look here in the brackets, I have it. The Taz says in Simat Tovkuf Nun Aleph that you're not allowed the minig is not to have wine in the 9 days. But vinegar made of wine, yes. He said, "Oh, people, why?" He says very Parsha. The minig is not to have simcha in these days. Therefore, you drink wine. Vinegar is, you have simcha from drinking vinegar. Vinegar is to put in to cook. That wasn't part of the minig. The minig was to mourn the loss of Yerushalayim. Same thing here. The minig of not having music is to mourn the Chav Dalet Talmidei of Rebbe Akiva. And Pnimius is that's whatever. There's a lot of things at Kabbalah too. So what's the difference if you're hearing the music live or you're hearing it on the not live? It's a union of simcha. It's Lapol, that's the minig. The minig is not to hear music. Okay, but there is two loopholes here. There is two loopholes here. Number one is the stronger one, and number two is the little schwacher one. There is. Let me go with the schwacher one first. There is in the shur the poskim discuss that there's a strong minig and a weak minig. A minig choshev is very binding. It means there was no Talmid Chacham around when they made the minig. It's only binding to those people that took the minig on themselves, not their children, and not people that came to move into the city. It's hard to say that this minig of not listening to music in sefira is a minig she'enei choshev. I mean, the Moshe Feinstein, the Minchas Yitzchak, they all think it's a make choshev. So who are me and you to go argue with that? Okay, but there's another issue, another loophole here, which is the Shach asks a question. In Siman Tov Kuf Samaches, it says Nasaris Mechuva, a person who fasts, if there's a bris, he could eat at the Sudas Abris. So the question is why? So the Shach says, why does he not have to have a Taras Nadarim? He says when they made those that accepted the minhag to fast Nasaris Mechuva was only for Stam Azoy, but for a bris they never had that in mind. The Chatchila, they made it nigh that we're going to fast, but if there's a bris we won't fast. And the same thing. So Shenkin here is talking about Ishvach and he wants to break the minhag, so he has to have a Taras Nadarim. The dog Marvava says no. He says the word is over there. He just wants to break the minhag once. He's not breaking the minhag. He just wants. He wants to. It's a one-time thing to Sudas Abris. Over here, the guy wants shvach and he wants to stop fasting. He can't. There's too much for him. He can't fast. Yom Kippur is hard enough. You know what I mean? You know how you feel at the end of Yom Kippur. Could you imagine a person that fasts all says Mechuva? It's impossible. So he can't do it anymore. So, but a one-time thing, if he wants to break a minhag, a biyochid is you're allowed to, and you're going to go back to do it. So, in Bekesha to this question, if it's a one-time thing and it's biyochid, according to the Dogel Mervava, allowed to do it. Now, the person that asked me was a question about inviting a whole group of people, but as I don't know if that would be a yochid. I mean, it's like a zilzal to the minhag. But for one person, as a yotzim in a klal. So you could be makel. But the other thing you can learn from the Shach is that sometimes built into the minhag is loopholes. I don't think that Klal Yisrael meant when they made the minhag not to hear music and the sefira is to that extent that your kids are not gonna watch any videos or nothing. And I mean, now we're stuck in the house and everyone's going to the zoo virtual. You're going to take a walk in the forest virtual. We're doing everything virtual. Hakachainik. So I'm not sure. It's a minhag. So to put on the music, which is mamish behedya music, to put on music that is live or non-live music, is taka. That's the minhag to asad it. And as I said, it has a little bit of something to hang your hat on a Shulchan Aruch and Siman Tav Tzaddik Gimel, but to say that the part of the minhag is taka television and say it's part of the minhag. You don't watch television. It's also to watch television. It's also a period. There's a din later in Siman Tav Chav Ches, a person that there's a whole thing over there that chedim is a very strong thing. You can't. Person can't make a Torah and Darim on a chedim. Ashkenazi can't go to a bezin, or even all the Ashkenazim will go together to bezin and say we want to marry two wives. Because a chedim is a very strong thing. Chedim is stronger for whatever reason. Why a chedim is stronger. But the Shulchan Aruch talks over there about a person that's Messiah. He has a weakness. He goes to the casino and he makes a ned that he's not going to go to. We're not going to be mata neder for him. Such a thing. It's said anyway. You made a neder. And you can't. I has to go back to the casino and say, "No, I'm sorry. We're not going to be mata this neder for you." So there you go. Okay, you'll be over. Chazal say you're not allowed to go to Bekuvi. We learned the Rambam lately. And plus, you made a neder. Same thing here. But it's also to watch television. So there's a minhag not to watch television. There's no loopholes for that. It's also to watch television. Also again, the same thing on this silly little thing. Whatever it's also on the big box is also on this box, and the days of sefira it's also on taka. It's also all year, but now it's also mitzad the minhag. But if you're asking me about some of these videos to just occupy the children, not chas v'shalom, educational videos from PBS. We're talking about silly videos that the kids watch, and it just about have enough time to boil yourself a pot of coffee. And the kids are already jack out of the box because it's totally not interesting. So we have to be misyashiv in this. Anyway, it's the summarize. The koyach of a minhag is quite strong. Maybe not like the Raj, but we don't pass that it's shma b'nei Torah musar v'chal titish Torah semecha. It's not like Issa d'Rabbanon, but it does have a koyach of a neder, which a neder is a very, very strong thing. A neder is a very, very strong thing. And true, a person could be mater neder if it's his own, or the whole city could be mater neder. But up to then, you have to keep the minig. There is a taka minig, she'ein minig chashuv, and we'll leave for another time. And that's binding only for the people that accepted it upon themselves, and not the people that moved into the city or the children of those people. But anything minig that's a minig chashuv, that's a sensible minig, and that's a siyag l'toira, and those are Talmid Chacham involved in making the minig, it's obligatory. It's interesting to see what Rabbi Heller has this thing. He says, "What's a minig Chabad? What's Chabad minig?" He says if the Chabad Rebbe did something, that's a minig Chabad. If all Lubavitch today is doing something which is silly, that's not called minig Chabad. Which is true, because apidin, a minig choshev means that there's a Talmid Chacham, there's a tzaddik that establishes. So if there's a minig in sefira menogim, minig from the Rabbeim, and we all accept it, it's a memela that has it's a minig choshev because it was established through a tzaddik, and also we all accepted it upon ourselves. But stam, people asking you have to peel the potatoes, you have to peel the tomatoes. Some of these minhagim. Definitely not a minig choshev. They're not an obligation for all of Chabad or all of Klal Yisrael at all. If you do it in your family, so then you have to know. First of all, you have to know if it's really a minig. Maybe it's not even a minig. I'll give you an example. When I got married, I found out there's such a thing. Hungarians don't eat fish on Pesach. So I found, well, what kind of strange minig? My mother-in-law has falsche fish. They make falsche fish. So like everything but the Hungarians is falsch. So I'm sorry. So they have falsche fish. It's really chicken. So I inquired about it, and I found out that there were places that the fishermen wanted to preserve the fish, so they put some alcohol, rubbed some alcohol onto the fish. It's chometz. So in these places didn't know fish is kosher. It could be kosher chometz. So therefore, they were knowing not to eat fish. And hence came the falsche fish. So how could a good Hungarian not have 3 courses at the Yom Tov meal? So the mele give on falsche fish. So for example, it's a tough question. Maybe it's not a minig. The minig is if it's a suffix. If the part I did, I taught us in Dorim for my wife. So you have to know a certain minhag maybe it's built into the minig. If it's not a minig. It's not a minig. It's if, and this is a place that the fish. So you have to be mine a certain minhagim. As I said, there's a minig choshev, the minig sheini choshev, and then there's a non-minig. And maybe in a certain place they didn't buy fish because those fish had chometz in them. Okay, we spent a lot of time on this, and I'll try to go very quickly in the next 2 Sheilos. I'm sorry I went over the time, but as I said, we're doing it l'koved the Kinos Torah. The Rebbe wanted that we should do a Kinos Torah Isra Chag of Yom Tov, and today is the first day after Yom Tov that we have the chance to do it. So he went off a little bit on a tangent on the first Shaila, a little bit in a pilpul, understanding the yesod of what a minig Yisrael is. Second question, people are asking me, a few people asked me already this question, that you have to go out, a person goes to work, a person's going out, you're chayiv today to have a mask and gloves. You go to the bathroom, and then you come out. You don't have another pair of gloves in your hand. Pull off the gloves are garbage. You can pull it off, you put it back on. So what do you do now? You want to say Asher Yotza? Are you allowed to? Okay, you could wash your gloves with soap, but yeah, nish. I mean, I don't care if you do that or not, for hygienic reasons. But mitzad din, could you not take off your gloves and walk out of the bathroom and say Asher Yotza without washing your hands? So we're running out of time. I just want to tell you the din. It's a mutter to go out and say Asher Yotza because the whole yesod of the isur is because maybe you touched a place, some tinuf, and now that there's gloves in your hands, you definitely didn't touch any tinuf. However, there is a spiritual thing of natilas yadayim, so definitely you should go out and say Asher Yotza and don't hesitate. But there is a spiritual thing, and there's a story with the Baba Sali. I'll tell you, Mitzvah, a Tuesday we're going to learn. It happened to be we're learning Tuesday in the Gemara about Natilas Yadayim. So we will leave it for Tuesday to go into more detail. But anyway, I'm just going to say the halacha. What seems clear is that you don't have to take off your gloves. You could go the rest of the day and do your business and say Dova Shabikdusha v'chulu and daven even mincha ma'id v'chulu. And but eventually, when you take off your gloves, you should wash your hands. Another question that someone asked, that he says, and this is another Corona question, that Aftzalach is from when this thing started, and he's home, he's having terrible dreams. So, what should he do? What should he do? So the answer is very simple. Chazal say what to do. Chazal say what to do. But before I give to the answer of what to do, I want to go through a few little nekudas, because I think the person that asked the question is on right now.
Yes.
So I want to go through a few nekudas in the Gemara itself. Amr Reb Chizda said, this is in the second page, the last paragraph. It's Brachas Nun Hey, Amud Aleph. Amr Reb Chizda, Chelma de Lamifshe Kegerta de Lamikri. Any dream that wasn't explained, it's like a gzeira that was never read. Basically, it has no effect at all. Amr Reb Chizda, Chelma Bisha, Odef Mechelma Tava. A bad dream is better than a good dream. Amr Reb Chizda, Chelma Bisha, Atzivusa Mestaye. Because a person is otziv from the dream, so that itself is already a tshuva for him, and that's good enough. Nothing bad will happen. Just to add some aggravation from having a bad dream, as mechaper, and that so you should feel good after you have a bad dream. And faket chelmatov, if you have a good dream, chedva mestaya, doesn't mean you're going to get any good. The pleasure of the good dream is already good enough. Amar Rav Huna, Lodem Toiv ein marim loy cholam toiv. A good person never gets a good dream. Never gets a good dream. Why? Because the Eibishter wants, he should be doyeg, he should do tshuva. You have a good dream, you wake up and we get fun of it. He had a bad dream, he's going to think about it, he'll do tshuva, he'll give tzedakah. So a good person never gets a good dream. Lodem ra ein marim cholam ra. A bad person, he always gets the good dreams. He never gets the dreams. The reason I'm telling you these few lines of the Gemara, because I think it's a little put things in perspective before we get to what the Gemara says, what to do when you have a cholam ra. Obviously, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's almost impossible to summarize the attitude of Chazal towards chaloimus, because there's so many contradictory things here. Just that there is a Marsov, a very geshmak Marsov in Daf Nun Hey, where he says basically there's three or maybe into four types of dreams. He said there's one dream that it all has to do with what the pisser and hachaloy, how you interpret the dream. Kasher posa kein hoya, like the Gemara says. Kasher posa kein hoya. However you translate the dream, that's what's going to happen. That's the whole long story about Bar Hedya, that Rabbi and Rabbi come to him to translate their dream, and he was considered the biggest professional in the world. Abaye always used to tip him. He used to give him a zuz. Rava didn't. So Abaye and Rava happened to have had for over 25 days. Every day they had the same dream. Abaye, he explained it in the good, and for Rava he explained it bad. Nebuch Rava lost his money, and his wife passed away, and everything happened bad to him. He didn't realize he wasn't giving that little tip to Bar Hedya. So he was, at the end, once Rava was traveling with Bar Hedya, and a book fell out of his hand, and he picked it up. He had all the secrets about dreams, and one of the secrets was that everything is the way you explain it with your mouth. So he said, Rosha, you did such tzarus to me just because I didn't pay you for the dreams. He said he gave him a klola. So then was Bar Hedya, the whole thing with the government, the dream, and he said he didn't get paid, and he explained it in a bad way. The kid said they punished him in a gruesome way. They took two the column, they tied one leg to the other and the other leg to the other, and they let the column fly up. Half of him ended up in one decal, the other half of him ended up in the other decal. So these chaloimus, a mamish, have to do with how you explain it. And the Marsov says, we see that here the koyach. The Gemara says in Brachas, Al ti'eh bichas hedit kala beinecha. Do you see the koyach of speech? The koyach of speech. Chassidus talked about. There's a landmark sikha from the Rebbe, a moedige sikha. We spoke about it many years ago. It was one of the first things we spoke about. One of the first droshes in Beis Menachem Mendel. 12 years ago, so I think we can repeat it again. So the Rebbe says because dibur, the idea koyach dibur is to be megala. Therefore, if you talk negative about a yid, you're megala the negative in the yid. If you talk positive about a yid, you're megala koychas and just like your own child. When you compliment the child, and you specific compliments, and you bring out the milas that your children have, and you tell it to them, bedibur bepeh molei, and you bring out that mila in the child. The same thing about a chava, and even if the chava is not there, that's why loshen klisoy kotla klisoy is the Rebbe's biur. Loshen hora is the person that speaks and listens. Versteht sich? It's a killer to them. But what's the killer? It kills the person. That's in the Gemara says in Erechim, the person that they was speaking about. He did nothing wrong. What did he do? He did nothing wrong. So it's not that he did anything wrong, says the Rebbe. It's a teva. If you speak good saveg nayid, you bring out the mile of the yid, and all of a sudden his milas start to shine. When you talk bad about a yid, all of a sudden his chesroinas start to shine. Therefore, in the days of Sfiras Oime, the message is that we have to talk about the milas of yid. Not only we should see milas chavere v'loy chesroinoi, but we have to talk about milas chavere v'loy chesroinoi. The opposite, the antidote for lashon hara is lashon tov. And we spoke about this the last Shabbos that we had a chance to daven together in Beis Menachem Mendel, or maybe the one Shabbos before that. Before when the noose was getting a little tight and the coronavirus started to spread, we're talking about tzaras, the each other and talking about our miles of a friend, not only to see, talk about the mile, just like a dream. When you talk about the dream and they say it's good, it comes out good. It kills them, because that is, like the Rebbe used to say to the children, if you remember the rallies, the order of the day. The order of the day. The order of the day is, and especially in Sfiras Omer, which loy nohagu kavod zebazeh. The tikkun is nohagu kavod zebazeh. We have to be noyeg kavod in every single yid, and not only be noyeg kavod, but to speak about the mile of every yid, and that's the antidote for the situation that we're in right now. That's the first type of dream. Second type of dream, says the Marsov, is that it's really a revelation of what's happening, but the speaking could a little bit sway it. And the third is sort of a nevuah, which comes through a malach, like the Gemara says, there's some come through a shade. So the first, the second level come through a shade. Oh, it's a malach. It's a gilui of what's going to happen. If it's undesirable thing, a person could do tshuva ma'asim tovim and change it, but it's a nevuah. And then he says these are the three levels of chaloimus. So the first level, the lowest level chaloim, whatever you say, that's how it is. The second is, it's iffy. And the third, it's a nevuah, but you can change it to tshuva ma'asim tovim. It says b'chlal, most of the dreams is mirhura de yaima. Like the Gemara says a story about Shvur Malka. They said to Shmuel, he said, "Oh, you guys are so wise. Tell me, what am I going to dream tonight?" You know what you're going to dream? I know exactly what you're going to dream. Tonight you're going to have a dream that your enemies captured you, and they whipped you, and they turned you into a shepherd, and your job is you're a shepherd for rats. A shepherd for rats. All day he couldn't get it out of his mind. A shepherd for rats. Wow. That's what he dreamt that night. So the joke's on Shvur Malka. So the Gemara says that there is a person, when Rav came to the base of Medrash crying, he had a dream by night that he slept with his sister. So they said, "Oh, the Emer l'chochma choisiat." I mean, you're going to become the Rosh Hashiva, because the pasuk says, "Emer l'choisi l'chochma choisiat." That chochma becomes my sister. So Mela, you're going to become the Rosh Hashiva. So the Meforshim say that way. Yeah, Rav, if you have such a dream, don't be so sure that you're going to become the Rosh Hashiva. Anyway, we went off a little bit on a tangent here, but also the importance that I wanted to bring out of the speech and the type of speaking we need to do right now in the days of Sefira Soimer Befrat when we're in quarantine. So now let's get to Lamaisa. What should this person do? What should this person do? The Gemara talks about a Tainis Cholam, but here the Gemara talk, and we'll get to that in a minute. The Alter Rebbe doesn't hold of Tainesim Befrat now, and we have to be healthy and have to eat every day and make sure you're taking your vitamins and exercising. V'chulu v'chulu. Even if you can't go out of the house, walk up and down the steps. So I'm not a doctor, but kids, make sure you keep looking after your health. And the Tainis Cholam, you should give $7 tzedakah and say you're giving it for the tzedakah instead of the fast. But there's one more thing that can be done and should be done, and that's I continue in the Gemara here. The Gemara says, he saw a dream and he's feeling upset about it. He should go and do a piston chaloim in front of 3. What should he do? So the Gemara, why should he do a piston chaloim to 3? Maybe they're going to open up a can of worms. Don't talk about your dream, and that's it. The Gemara says, not yiftirenu. You should make a tovas chaloim. Leise class, you bring 3 people. You should say to them, I saw a good dream. They should say, to them, that the Eibusha should make it good. 7 times they should be goes in the heaven, that should be good. I'm reading it one way now. The Tosfos has a suffix to read it this way. The other way Tosfos reads it, they go back to the beginning line. That they say, that they should say it 7 times. These words, the Sheva Zimnin, the question is they should say it Sheva Zimnin, or they should say it like every lachash 3 times, but they say Sheva Zimnin Ligzer Mishamaya. The Alter Rebbe takes the most chumr de kashita. He ends up you say it 7 times. You say it almost 49 times. You will see soon in the Alter Rebbe Siddur. They should say Gimel Afuches, Gimel Peduyas, Gimel Shloimus. Just 3 pasuk about the way the Eibush is mahapach the klal bracha, and 3 things about the pidyon, like in this pasuk. Hashem Amalche Chameret Mitzrayim, Poides Chameret Mitzrayim, V'Shalosh Shloimus, and 3 pasukim Shalom. That's the way the Shulchan Aruch pasuk in the Siman Chof. That's the whole Siman Chof and Orachaim, and there's a nusach in the Alter Rebbe Siddur how to do it. So definitely we can do Tovas Chaloim for this Yid, and it's interesting to note if you look at the second page, the Alter Rebbe says Hamativim Yir Gimul Oyevim Mois Afilam Edyotis. It could be a bichas hadid, doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be a big Talmid Chachamim. But even though this morning I gave everyone the title Rabbi, but the Nishnagaya doesn't have to have the title Rabbi. But you have to have a oyev. So Pinchas, we all love you very much. So like this, I want to summarize the shir, and then if 3 people would like to stay on, we could do our Tovas Chaloim for Pinchas Zelio. So to summarize the shir, we have the first question is about listening to music in the days of Sefira and Befrat Chabad that do all the 49 days. It is a bona fide minig according to many poskim, and we spoke about what's the koyach minig, if it's a neder or it's toiras imecha, and we said that the Shulchan Aruch received paskin that it's a neder, and based on the Alter Rebbe how you can fuse together the Babel and Yerushalmi. You could make a toras and darim, but if the whole town took it upon themselves, the whole town has to make a toras and darim. Spoke about several loopholes, minig sheina choshuv or eine minig klal, but this is a minig. We spoke about the loophole if it's a one-time thing, and maybe the loophole of minhagim that originally built in certain leniencies in the minig, like not he's going to fast all the sides to make sure, but if it's a bris, is different. Second question was, if you wear gloves, you go to the bathroom, you have to wash your hands. No, you could say Ashiyotza without washing your hands. But it's kedai beruchnes dikanyonim later when you come home to do Netilas Yadayim. Third question is about a dream. So if you have a bad dream, you should know you're a good guy like David HaMelech. But if you want, you could do Tainis Chaloim by giving a couple of dollars to be paid to the 3 meals, and you could do Hatovas Chaloim. And if 3 people would be so kind and stay online, so we could do the Atavas Chaloim for Pinchas who would like to do Atavas Chaloim. If you don't want to stay on, Pinchas.
So I was to have them so we could talk about it. So it's talk Torah about it.
Yes, exactly. Pinchas, you're right. So we ended up with a Geschmack, the Geschmack Shaila, and we ended up talking about Avas Yisrael. The Eibishter wanted that you should be Ma'ored the Shaila. We should end up talking about the Rebbe Sicha and the antidote for our situation with Fraten Sfiris Oimer, and in the Chodesh of Ani Hashem Reifecha. And tonight we'll learn a terrific Sicha about Ani Hashem Reifecha. Anyway.
We were able to find the idea of the Rabbi of that when a person prays, he should not be involved with Havana, the Hasaga.
Now let's do one thing at a time. Let's do one thing at a time. Atavas Chaloim is Atavas Chaloim. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
Anyone that doesn't want to stay on, have a great day. Please, if you can join us tonight, 8:30, the same station, the same place. And as usual, thank you very much to Rabbi Yoel. Rabbi Yoel puts up with me, and thank you very much, Peretz, and thank you everyone for joining us. David shall helfen Taka. That since we're all oyavim nemonim zelazeh, we should see milas chavereinu. Definitely, we shouldn't see each other's chesrenes, and we should talk about each other's milas. And in this chus, the Rebbeinu Shalom shall help that finally we should not only that we shouldn't be in quarantine, but and we shouldn't be tzaras, but the tzaras should be turned around. That Mashiach Tzidkenu is called Chivre de Rebbe. He's called the Metzora, which we'll talk about in Mitzvah Shem next week. That's Tazria-Metzora. That instead of the tzaras in the negative way, we should have the tzaras in a positive way. That we should be zoichet to have the bias Mashiach Tzidkenu. It's called the Chivre de Rebbe.
Amen.
Okay, a great day to everyone. And if you like to stay with us, if you printed out the last 2 pages, then you have in front of you the Nusach. And if not, look in the Alter Rebbe Siddur. It's towards the end. It's right after the brachas on the Bris Milah. In the old Siddurim. The brand new fancy Siddurim, they cleaned it up. I don't know why they took it out of the Siddur. But in the standard Siddurim of Tilas Hashem, if you look towards the end, you'll see the Tavas Chalam. But anyway, in page 3 and 4 on the handouts, it's been sent out. I think it's been sent out. Yeah, Parrot sent it out today, 10:35. Sources again. Thank you, Parrots. Okay. Pinchas, do you have the pages in front of you?
I don't. Sorry.
Okay. So what I will do for you is I'll take a picture of it with my camera, and I will send it to you right now on the phone, and you'll be able to say it. Okay. Do you have a Tilas Hashem Siddur right in front of you?
I do.
Could you look if it's right after? It's right after. Look in the index. It's right after. As I said, it's right after Bris.
Yes.
You see, say the Bris, the brachas of the Bris.
I don't have. It's like 30 years old, but
yeah, that's great. The 30-year-old Siddur is exactly the Siddur I want. That's the Siddur that's going to have it.
I'm looking 287 on Strata Omer. Am I supposed to go ahead?
You're almost there. One second. I'll tell you which page you need to. By the way, I sent it to you on your phone, so you already have it on your phone. But if you want to see it in the Siddur, and if anyone else has a Siddur on them, it's Atavas Chaloim is on page Kuf Pei Tes. 370 or 380, 376 on the other side. It's 376 and 377. Kuf Pei Tes. You got it? Page Kuf Pei Tes. Otherwise, you have it on your phone. I sent it to you on your phone. Does anyone else have it? You can unmute yourself now.
No, I can't find it.
Did you get the 10:35? Barrett sent out an email with source sheets.
I got it, but I don't know how to access it.
Okay, fine. So I'll send it to you too on the phone. If you would like to get it on the phone, I can send it to you on the phone. Pinchas, you found it in the Siddur? Pinchas? Kuf Pei Tes, you got it?
Kuf Pei, I'm coming up. Should be coming up to it.
Right after Tikkun Chatzos.
Right after Tikkun Chatzos, you got it. Right after Tikkun
The old
Chatzos.
fashioned.
Page Kuf Pei Tes. Ari, I sent it to you.
Okay, great.
It's on page 3 of the handout.
Anyway, you know what, Pinchas? Open your phone.
Yes.
Oh, you got it in the Siddur? Okay.
Yes, I found it. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, let's go. Pinchas, start saying. 3 times. Say those 3 words. Chalma tavoy chazoi.
Chalma.
Tava.
Tava.
Chazoi.
Chazoi.
Say it again. Chalma tava. Chazoi.
Chalma. Tava. Chazoi.
A 3rd time. Chalma.
Helma.
Tava.
Tava.
Chazoi.
Chazoi.
Okay, now we're all going to answer. Chelma tova chazisa, chelma tova chazisa, chelma tova chazisa. Chelma de doch tova hu, v'tov, v'lehev rachman l'shavid l'tav, sheva zimnin ligzer aleich min shemayit l'hev tova, v'yehev tova, tova hu, v'tova l'hevi. Now we do it again. Pinchas, say again. Chelma tova.
Helma tava chazoi.
Again, Chelma Tava.
Helma Tava Kazoi.
Chelma Tava.
Helma Tava Kazoi.
Okay, now we answer. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma de Doch Tavo. Betava lehever. Achmon l'shava l'tav sheva zimna l'ikzech m'shamayit lehever tava l'yehever tava tovu. Betava lehever. All right, one more time.
Helma Tava Kazoi. Helma Tava Chazoi. Helma Hama Chazoi.
Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma de Doch Tavo. Betava lehever. Achmon l'shava l'tav sheva zimna l'ikzech m'shamayit lehever tava betava. Betava betava lehever. The Alter Rebbe holds that it's kedai to do it 7 times. So we did it 3. Let's do it again. Do it again.
Helma Tava Chazoi. Helma Hama Chazoi. Helma Hama Chazoi.
Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma de Doch Tavo. Betava lehever. Achmon l'shava l'tav sheva zimna l'ikzech m'shamayit lehever tava lehever tava tovu. Betava lehevi. Again.
Helma Hava Chazoi. Helma Hava Chazoi. Helma Hama Chazoi.
Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma de Doch Tavo. Betava lehever. Achmon l'shava l'tav sheva zimna l'ikzech m'shamayit lehever tava yehever tava tovu. Betava lehevi. Okay, then you continue.
Helma Tava Chazoi. Helma Hava Chazoi. Helma Hama Chazoi.
Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava lehever. Achmon l'shava l'tav sheva zimna l'ikzech m'shamayit lehever. Last time.
Helma Hava Chazoi. Helma Hama Chazoi. Helma Hama Chazoi.
Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Tava Chazesa. Chelma Doch Tavo. Betov. Lehever Achmon l'shava l'tav sheva zimna l'ikzech m'shamayit lehever tava yehever tava tovu. Betova lehevi. Now we say together with us the next few psukim. Afachta misbedele mocheli. We say it all together. Betachta zakevet azerin semcha ostis mach besola mochel vachurim uzekenim yachtav. Vafachti evelom otzam v'tichamtem v'simachtem migyoinam. Aloi ovade no yelech lishmael bilam bayafach adon yelech lachos akol l'brach kiayif adon yelech oh the vishalom nafshi mikrov l'kivera b'moyom adi ayoy meramel shola yonis and yomus shiros hayeshu agdol azayis b'Yisrael chalila chay adonai im yomus mesares rosh arz kima Elohim also ayoy mazev yifto amas yonis avalei meis ufedu ye adonai yeshuv nevu tziyam berina v'samchaselam al rosham sosa v'samchaya asigu v'nosa yogem v'anocha bud in his vasem shalom shalom larach v'lakvar v'madnoi urefosif veru achlav shesam moshe shalish chod avdema chaben yishay sholem sholem lecho v'sholem le'ezruch v'kiazor cho'aleich v'kablam david beitem v'rosh hagdud amartem k'lechavat sholem v'esma sholem v'chalash alecho sholem adonai zlamayit and adonai vorech esamay v'sholem. Pinchas, continue.
Let me see. You sent it to my messages?
No, if you have it in the Siddur, in the messages, in the second page. Adonai shamati shimacha yoresi.
Adonai shamati
Shimacha yoresi.
Huh?
Shimacha yoresi. Yoresi.
Shimacha yoresi.
Adonai balcha bekerev shanim chayu yu bekerev shanim tadiya beregez rachem tizgor. Adonai balcha bekerev shanim chayim bekerev shanim tadiya beregez rachem tizgor. Adonai balcha bekerev shanim chayut bekerev shanim tadiya beregez rachem tizgor. Now Pinchas say Shir Lamalas.
Which one?
Shir Lamalas. Continue. Shir Lamalas. Esa Einai El Horim.
Shil Malatzana El Harim.
Okay, now we continue. Al Yitan Lamet Raglach Vayanam Shabrachain Alon Ali Sham Yisrael no Shamrachan Etzel Chalyad Menacha Yo Mama Shamash Valaya Keko Vere Yablano Shmachan Olro Yitrato Shachan Shmates Vayacha Yot Yavlo Ado again Pinchas say Shir Lamalos
Shil Malatzana El Harim Azim Haim Al Sishmai Va'aretz.
Oh, you don't know about Pinchas again, Shir Lamalas.
Shil Malatzana El Harim Azim Haim Al Sishmai Va'aretz.
Oh, you don't continue Pinchas. Toidieni Oirachayim.
I got it. Today Chaim.
So say again. Toidieni.
Today Chaim.
So was macht man nachher in Chonetzach again. Toidieni.
Today Chaim.
So was macht man nachher in Chonetzach. Now continue. Veidaber.
It says, Veidaber Mashil Mod. Very Aaron the more could be good in a smaller him.
Say it again. Say it again, Veidaber.
Veidaber Mashil Mod. Very Aaron the more could be good in a smaller him.
Again, Veidaber. Now we're all going to say to you clearly, Leich besimcha, choy lachmecha, leif toiv yinecha, kichar rotzo Elohim es maasecha. Okay, now that it's coming from not only 3 good friends, but 6 good friends, and more than that, so you should know that rotzo Elohim es maasecha, and thank you very much for being a catalyst for such a beautiful shtickle Torah. And you know that the Mishnah Siddur says that there's sometimes a mes mitzvah in Torah. Who learns this halacha and Shulchan Aruch, and who looks at this part of the Siddur? When was the last time anyone in the Shir looked at this? So you're a mezakah, right. Special days of sefira. The Eibush should helfen that the whole golus is the chachaloim hayinu kechelmin. Let's speak about this tonight in Mitzvah Shem. So the Eibush shall helfen that finally we should have the chazoin, not a chaloim. We should have a chazoin from the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi and the Geulas HaMitzvah V'Hashleim Al Yedei Mashiach Tzidkeinu.
Amen.
Amen. Toda Rabbi.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank
day,
you, gentlemen.
Rabbi. Thank
Cool,
you.
cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Rabbi. Okay.